Hey guys, it's Nick the Booksmith. Welcome back, welcome back. So today I thought I would just turn on the camera and let you follow along to what I am doing today, which is planting a few seeds so that they will be ready when it is time to put them outside in the garden beds. The soil is all loose and damp, and it's not soppy, but it is very damp. But I don't want it packed down, so I'm making sure that it is fairly loose, and I will give it a little bit of a tamping after I put the seeds in it. So today I'm going to plant some sweet bell peppers, some cherry tomatoes, and some beefsteak tomatoes. I have some seeds coming from Seed Savers, but they haven't gotten here yet, so I'm going to plant just a few things of what I already saved. Okay. What I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to do 4 seeds in each pot, and then I can cull out the weaklings later and keep the stronger ones. Does that sound like a plan? Now I'm just going to kind of level it out a little bit so I can see where the seeds need to go. And I don't fill these up to the tippity top. These are pretty hefty peat pots. They're good size. I like these as opposed to the smaller ones because I feel like the smaller ones are too small, and they get your plants can get topple over because it gets a little you know, like top heavy. As soon as the plant gets any amount of of length to the stem, it just kind of topples over. So I like to get the bigger ones and just not fill them as high. So with peppers, they basically just want like 1/4 of an inch, which is not much. It is not much. The peppers I have coming yet are red Marconis from Seed Savers, and oh, they're fabulous. Fabulous. But these are just regular old bell pepper, nothing fancy. I'm just going to barely tap that down over the top, and I will give it a little sprinkle when I put those to bed. I hope everybody is doing okay. I decided to go ahead and do a garden this year. I have not done a garden in for 3 years, just because I have no time. But this year, because we don't really know how long all this is gonna go on, I felt that maybe I should go ahead and just bite the bullet and do it. So of course, when I decide to do something, I decide to overdo it, as you do. And I'm probably going to plant enough to feed the whole neighborhood, which is fine. I can ding-dong ditch a whole bunch of stuff to the neighbors. We've done that before. They can't refuse the cucumbers if they don't see your face. And these are the beefsteak seeds. So I'm going to do those, well, maybe in the middle. I better keep track of this, huh? So I'll know where they are. The tomatoes I have coming from Seed Savers are an Italian heirloom and Isis cherry tomatoes. So that's what's coming from them. Thank you, Seed Savers. And I have seeds that I can plant. I have yellow squash, like the thin, smooth-skinned ones, not the bumpy crookneck. And I have, well, I have 2 kinds of yellow squash. One is an heirloom and one isn't. I have some bush beans, some green beans, and I also have cucumbers. And they're not pickling cucumbers, they are slice and eat cucumbers. And the green beans, oh, you get down there. Down. The green beans are bush beans. Because I have garden beds, I decided to go with bush beans as opposed to pole beans. And in this one, we will do the cherry tomatoes, the ones that I have at the moment. The Isis cherry tomatoes will get planted when that arrives, when those seeds arrive. Tomato seeds are dinky tiny too, so you don't have to plant them very deep either. They are binky tiny, binky tiny. So I hope everybody is doing well. Let me know how you're doing. I hope nobody is sick or has a family member that is sick, whether it's the COVID virus or seasonal flu or allergies or whatever. I hope everybody's okay and weathering out the storm as it is. And we just recently, about 20 minutes ago, got a stay-at-home order announced. It actually came, the alert came on my phone, just like an Amber Alert would. And so there's that. It's not like I go anywhere hardly ever anyway. I'm I'm considered high risk because of my health issues, so I haven't actually been anywhere in almost 3 weeks. Anyway, but I am happy to follow direction. Okay, so here is cherry tomatoes, which would be way too many if these all sprout. Make sure everybody's in the pool.
Oh my God.
So I've got them cut out, and that one needed a trim. They're all very similar in size, but yeah, so they're mostly within an increment of an increment. There is a page of blank ones because I figured everybody has different kinds of seeds and vegetables and herbs that they're going to be planting, and so I made some vegetables, and then I made a page of blank ones that have little labels that you can fill in whatever it is that you would like. So I'm going to set those aside for now, but the ones that I'm going to be using, I'm going to fold these in half, wrong side to wrong side. Somewhere around here there's a bone folder, but it is hiding at the moment. So I will grab a wooden stick. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to barely tack these together, and I could do that with anything really, double-sided tape or glue, anything that you've got lying around really. Just a little tiny bit, you don't need a lot. I'm not planting strawberries, but there's strawberries in there. Now with these, I'm going to grab this one. I have some seeds coming, and I know of what's coming. So I will fill in this one. This one will be the red curry squash. And then I have Isis cherry tomatoes. And I have, this is a long one, but I guess it could go, because it is a pumpkin. So I have one pumpkin coming, so I could use the pumpkin one because it kind of looks like that. It's one of those fairy tale pumpkins, the Musky de Provence, beautiful. Oh, so it kind of looks like that. So we'll just do that. And then I have Italian heirlooms. I'm trying to think, what else did I get? I got radishes, but I've got radishes here. That will be fine. I got carrots, so I will write those, and they're called Little Finger. There we go. I found some lovely seed shops on Etsy, so I will check out these seeds and let you know how they do. I just ordered some yesterday, so they probably won't be here for a minute. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run these through the laminator in a laminating sleeve and cut them apart. If you don't have a laminator, you can always take some, like just some shipping tape and just laminate it yourself. All right, let's go laminate these puppies. Okay, I'm going to be all kinds of honest here. I've never done this before. Isn't that weird that I've never laminated anything before? So I'm assuming I'm doing this correctly. I'm just going to line these up and give them some room in between so I can cut them apart and they'll still have a frame of plastic around them. Now the OCD kicks in. Okay, so there's that row. Oh, let's straighten this one up. Straighten up, man. Don't you hate when you touch something and you get it just perfect and then you take your hand away and it shifts? Just the force of your hand moving away shifts it, or you touch something else. Maddening. It's maddening. There is a trick to this. I know there is. And I can hear you guys yelling at me. I can hear it. I can hear it. And I'm like, I know. I just don't know what it is. Okay, well, that's it. It's going through. So it's too late now. And do you send it through once or twice, or is there a scheme of things? They look great. I think I'm going to turn it over and send it through again. Might be a bad idea. If it is, yell louder because I can't hear you. I think we're okay. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. No sense in leaving that on. Okay, now I'll show you what I'm going to do with them now that they are all sealed in. Okay, so I have these good size paper clips. Oh, I left my scissors on the other table. Of course I did. My pair of the world's biggest scissors. So I'm going to just trim this one out. Okay. So here is the little radishes. And pick a side that you like, because there's going to be a side you like more than the other. Well, if you're me, you do. And then I'm going to have my paper clips so that it has the two rounded clip parts aiming south. I'm going to lay that down there, and I'm just going to take my glue gun and put a little glob of glue, a little glob of glue, and lay that down so that it's semi-straight. Doesn't really matter all that much. I'm going to be honest. And then probably do a little more glue. When in doubt, glue it out. Go. And the reason why I'm just using hot glue is because if these happen to go outside, then the hot glue is going to be okay. I'm not even doing lettuce. I do have beets coming. They're not purple beets, red beets. They're golden beets. But it doesn't matter because I know what kind of beets I ordered. And I couldn't find any golden beets vintage images in my library of stashiness of vintage garden images. So it will have to be the red beets. It's going to be okay. Oh, sorry. It's going to be okay. And I'm also using paper clips because I'm going to be clipping these to the sides of the little pots for my seed starters. But if you're going to be starting these outside in the ground, if you're going to be direct sowing, then maybe you could glue something else, maybe a bamboo skewer, something like that, That way you could just pop it in the ground and Bob's your uncle. But since these are relatively inexpensive to make, I can make a couple of different kinds if I want. And this just says tomato or tomato, your preference. No shade. I think I'm going to be starting a lot of stuff inside because the weather is so temperamental or finicky. It doesn't know what it wants to do, and last year it snowed. What was the day that it snowed? It was like May 12th. I'm trying to remember what it's like. It was crazy. It was absolutely insanely maddening because, are you kidding me? It was after Mother's Day, and that is the date where everybody in northern Colorado says that it's safe to plant after Mother's Day. That's the thing. That's the rule. Well, not last year. That little bit of snow, and it was just cold enough, and the snow was just heavy enough to just decimate my cherry tree. It just I had, I think, maybe a dozen cherries. That's all the blossoms that survived. It was very sad. But my apple tree, because it's a Minnesota variety, it's called a Harrelson. It knew better, and it hadn't bloomed all the way out yet, and even the blossoms that did open, it's such a hardy tree that it didn't even faze it. It was like, this is nothing. Have you seen Minnesota? I was like, right? But let's hope that this year, well, weather-wise, is better than last year. We have other things we're dealing with this year. We don't need finicky weather too, do we? It's like, give us a break. Are we gonna watch Nick glue all of these? I don't know if that's a good idea. All right. Well, that's that, and I will show you now what the pots look like, where they're sitting. So here is where they are going to sit. This little cabinet has room for the rest of the pots when I get the rest of the seeds in, so I'll be able to put them all up here. And I put some of the little markers there on the edges of the pots so I know what is what. And then what I do is I have this plastic tote, and I just set that on top of this other, it's sitting in like this plastic tray, and it's actually a lid to a Tupperware container, but there's an air gap here, so it puts a lot of light in there, but then it also keeps it warm and humid so that the seedlings are happy, because they're just like any baby, they want to be warm. So there is where they are going to sleep until they start to sprout, and then once they start to sprout, then they don't need the top anymore. But this is just to help insulate and keep it nice and humid in there for them. So that is that. I hope you guys enjoyed my little gardening project today. And if you need some seedling markers, please head on over to my Flickr page, which is link is below the video, and you can download those markers and make some for your own seedlings. All right, guys, big huge love to everybody, and I'll see you really soon in the next video. Bye, guys.